good evening, everybody. I am glad to be here this evening. So
Good
we're going to
evening.
jump in. We're already 8 minutes, 3 minutes into it. So we're so glad you guys are joining us today. So good evening, the entrepreneurs that are here with us. It's exciting to be here tonight. And I have the honor of welcoming you. This is the first of 5 events in our pregame series leading into our Business Autopilot Summit, May 19th through the 23rd. Tonight, we will answer the question, why should an entrepreneur or small business automate? I'm Sharon Larry with Peak Performance 90 Days to Success. My colleagues, Mr. Robert Dunbar, Training by Dunbar, Ariel Simone, your millennial coach, and Harold Branch, Branching Out Coaching and Training. We have worked diligently to bring you a tangible, usable, readily available tools and ideas that few are offering, but is necessary, especially in the time that we work in now. I've been an entrepreneur for about 20 years now, and I'm a bit jealous of the technology that's available that would have made my journey so much easier. The hours, the tediousness, the long night, okay, it's all changed now for the better. And I'm still young enough to take advantage of it all. We as business owners, or as some prefer entrepreneurs, find it difficult to manage the multitude of tasks included in running a business smoothly. However, the present era of digitization makes it all easier through automation. Running a small business is a bit like being a carpenter. To create something great and achieve your desired outcome, you need certain tools, and you need to know how to use them. You may have to work with a limited budget, so the focus needs to be on using the right tools and using them efficiently. We're here to show you, guide you to tools that can help you grow your business and free you up, because that's the whole idea, right? We all want to have more time. And as we've watched so many things change, automation has become one of the key features for a small business. So keeping that in mind, should the typical small business automate? Now, I've been studying this concept for a while and looking through the lens of companies that are using automation and companies that provide automation. Now, the answer is yes. Nearly all small businesses need to invest in automating to improve the customer experience and to remain competitive. Now, I'll tell you why. The way people research and make purchase decisions has changed quite dramatically in recent years. In this digital transformed marketplace, you're competing with companies across town, across the state, across the country. You may even be competing with companies across the world. And with this in mind, many of your ideal buyers simply want the fastest and the easiest experience possible. Either your company provides a superb experience centered around immediate gratification, or your competition will. Automation is the only cost-effective way for most small businesses to provide a consistent world-class customer experience 24/7, 365. And if you have a small business and you're struggling and you're trying to figure out what to automate, this summit is designed just for you, because we're going to show you how to use the tools to automate so you can scale your business. Now, automation can make many workflows a whole lot simpler. And the less administration and data entry you have to do, the more time you can spend making money, with your family or enjoying hobbies or traveling or whatever tickles your fancy. That's what small business automation is all about. Now, the BAPS is designed to help you identify what's available, how you can use it in your business, and why these tools are important. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, please put KGS in the chat. That's keep going, Sharon, okay? Thank you, guys. I love to run my mouth. So I want to stop here. I just wanted to let you guys know that we are dedicated to bringing something that we've never seen in the marketplace. And we're talking about things that you can use right now. And we're talking about tools in a lot of cases that are free or nearly free. We just want you to take advantage of it. So tonight, as I kick us off, and my colleagues will be following me with information, with tools that can help you with your business, because this is truly all about helping you. Now, I can remember, and you guys may be familiar with this, right? Where you're having to do a presentation, maybe you're doing a Zoom, maybe you're doing a video on YouTube, Or maybe you're just trying to do something on social media and you already know what you're going to say, but you need some notes, right? So you got notes, post-it notes on the top of your computer. You got post-it notes on the wall. You got post-it notes or on the ceiling. Maybe you even got notes on your hand. But I'm here to tell you that with technology, things have gotten a lot easier, right? So one of the things that we see is, especially with like politicians, entertainers, we see people who are standing and we see them delivering just perfect speeches, information or entertaining us. And we know that they usually have something that helps them to do that. And usually it's a teleprompter. We've seen presidents using teleprompters. Well, wouldn't it be great if we could have that same access? Now, most of us don't want to really invest in buying a big teleprompter and all that usually goes with that, the mechanics of it, right? But what if you could have a teleprompter that you can use right on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, on your computer, where the words are scrolling right in front of you, right on top of the Zoom. So you can still see the Zoom and the people can see you, but they can't see the words. Well, that's what I'm using tonight. And it's called Teleprompter Pro. Now, this is a program that I used and I found it in the Microsoft Store. This particular program, there is a trial. And then after that, it's a big whopping $8.99. Not per month, $8.99, period. So please take some time. I'm just going to show you guys real quickly what that looks like. And let me come out of this real quick. And Rob, can you still see me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going to do a quick share screen so you guys can just get a little quick peek. Is that okay if we do a quick peek? All right, if that's okay with you guys, put an okay in the chat. Good stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys know I love running my mouth for those who know me, right? So I'm going to get right into it, though. Let me do a screen share real quick and bring this up. Gotta find it here. Here we go. Share screen and here we go. So this is just a quick sample look at what Teleprompter Pro looks like. So here at the top, you have, if you want to do full screen or reduce screen, you turn your camera on. If you turn your camera on, then it just means that you can see the words and you can see the camera, and the camera can see you. At the bottom, here's your play, forward, and the words are just scrolling at a pace that's comfortable for you. You decide how fast it's going to go. Now, this is just one of the many that's available. There are others that are available. What I encourage you to do is look at this one, but there are some others. Just do teleprompter in your Google search, right? And take a look at some of the others. Or you can go to YouTube and do teleprompter in YouTube. I just happen to like this one because of the cost. There are some others that are free, but they're limited. And you can look to decide what kind of investment or none that you want to make to use this. But I can tell you this, it sure does make life a whole lot easier. So I'm Sharon Larry. I'm with Peak Performance 90 Days to Success. And what we do is we're a community of like-minded women. We're here to make the impossible possible. And what we do know is that wise women do, and they don't regret it. Right, Tracy Valentine? So now I'm going to be turning it over to my colleague, and this is Mr. Robert Dunbar. And a lot of you guys already know he's been a mentor, he's been a coach with me, he's been an incredible friend. So I'm going to be turning it over to him at this point. So he's going to talk to you guys about some things that also will help drive your business to the place that you want it to be. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Dunbar.
All right, can you see me?
Yes,
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm pre-game today. Good stuff. So we appreciate you guys. So again, we are going to be doing a quick 10 minutes. We're trying to keep it simple because we don't want to scare people off. Because sometimes we'll do trainings and people are like, it's way too much for me. So we're going to gradually get you to a point where you feel like, okay, I've got this, right? So we're going to be doing so much hands-on and tutorial-based presentations that it should be a lot easier for you. So I created a 3-page follow-up for you guys to have as a PDF. So everything I'm going to tell you, all of the steps I'm going to tell you to take when it comes to Google Calendar, I'm going to show you some settings that you can change in Google Calendar that'll make it easier for you to do things, right? And this is just the beginning, but the steps that I'm going to talk about, there's a 3-page PDF that's in the chat. So if you look in the chat, you'll see right at the top, it should be somewhere at the top, there should be a link. If you just joined us here in the last few minutes, then you probably don't see it because you can't see anything that got there before you did. So I'm going to repost it. And if you click on this link, you will open up the PDF, and the PDF will look just like this. So it'll be a PDF, that'll be the cover page, and then it'll be the steps. So don't worry about if I'm talking too fast when I go through this, because you'll have all the steps for everything. Modify your Google Calendar event, display multiple time zones, display secondary time zones, right? View suggestions, and then receive your daily agenda. So that's what I'm gonna talk about today, doing with your Google Calendar. So if you download this, and I sent it in the email too about 15 minutes ago, you'll have all the steps. So now you don't have to worry about following me along in a way that's too difficult. So I'm gonna go directly to my calendar and go ahead and get started so we can keep this on time. So if you are going to open up a brand new event and you already have your calendar on your computer, let me do it this way first, right? So just so you know, if you are going to set an appointment real quickly and you just wanted to go to your calendar and set up a brand new event, all you have to do is put in CAL, right? .new, Cal new, right? Cal.new. If you put cal.new and click, it will open up your Google Calendar directly to set in a brand new appointment. So you don't have to, that's a shortcut for you guys as you're looking to automate your business and move forward and things. To say, hey, look, I'm going to set an appointment. Just put cal.new, enter, and you'll open up your Google Calendar and you can start setting your brand new appointment there, right? So I hope that helps. The next one is going to be modifying your event. So sometimes, how many of you guys put a number 3 in the chat if you are wanting to set an appointment with somebody and you maybe send them a suggestion on Google Calendar for a time and that person can't meet that time. So they decide that, oh, I can't do that. And then they text you or they email you and say that they can't make that appointment. Well, now you're going back and forth with a person, which is time consuming, especially if you're doing that several times a week. Well, I'm going to show you how to modify your calendar so that if that person can't do that time, they can modify it on their end. And now you don't have to haggle back and forth with the person when you're doing that, right? So I am just going to go directly to Google Calendar and I'm going to go to settings over here. And remember, all of this is on the PDF. I'm going to go to settings. And under settings, you got general right here, right? And then if you look on that sheet under general, it says go to event settings. And when you get to event settings down here, you see default guest permissions. See where it says modify event? You click down here, I've got modify event checked. If you don't have yours checked, it'll show like this. then you're just going to check it, modify event. And what's going to happen when you do that is when you send a calendar out to somebody, if you book an appointment for 1 o'clock, if I book an appointment with Sharon for 1 o'clock and send it to her and she can't meet with me till 2 o'clock, she can change it to 2 o'clock on her side and send it back to me, and I can see whether it fits my schedule. And if it doesn't, I can change it to another time and send it back to her. Now we don't have to actually talk. We can just respond that way and cut down on talking. Does that help everybody? Right, put a point in the chat if that's helping you guys. So that's the next tip. The next one is displaying multiple time zones. So I know there's quite a few of you guys like me where you're doing business with people that are in a different time zone. So if you look on my calendar here on the left-hand side, you see I've got all these different time zones. And then I've got two different lanes of time zones here, which is my current time zone, and then the time zone I do business in most outside of mine. I do a lot of business with West Coast people. So I've got East Coast right here, right? And then, and let me do something real quick. Let me change my annotation so you can see this just a little bit better on my. Now you see a little red dot. So the closest here, this is East Coast time, and then I've got West Coast time here because I do a lot of business on the West Coast. And then here I've just got several time zones. So if I'm going to email somebody or set an appointment, I know what time it is for them, which helps me be conscious so that I'm not sending an email or trying to communicate with somebody when it's maybe not business hours for them, right? And not having to look time zones up. Sometimes we don't always know time zones. So I've got Hawaii, of course, West Coast, Pacific, Central, and East over there. So how do I do that? So if you go to settings and click settings, once you open up settings, you'll see it says time zone in world clock, right? So if I click world clock, it'll scroll down. I'm just going to hit the check for show world clock, and then I can add whatever time zones I want. You can add any time zone in the world there, and it'll go right down. And then you can put them in whatever order you want them in based on how you want them listed down the left-hand side. So that's how you would show those on the left-hand side, right? As many as you want, you can put there. And then if you scroll up just a little bit, you'll see where it's got time zone, display secondary time zone. So what this is where I've got the two columns, right? So I've got my time zone here, East Coast, and then I've got Pacific time zone as a secondary because I like to just be able to look right to the left and see what time it is there because I do a lot of business on the West Coast. You can change that to whatever time zone suits you that you want to do business with. So put that there. Now you've got that on the left. Where it says ask to update my primary time zone or current location, I would say check this button because what that does is if you happen to go out of town to a different time zone, Google will change everything to the time zone that you're currently in so that you're not talking to people when you're out of town for a week and you're doing stuff in your time zone when you're not in your time zone. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes, yes? Put a 5 in the chat if that makes sense. So it's a way, because sometimes we forget, right? We know our clocks on our watches are a lot of times electronic. Our phones, they will change automatically, but our appointment stuff won't. But Google will change your Google Calendar and everything else to meet the time zone that you're currently in if you change time zones and say you're out of town for a significant amount of time, visiting a family or anything like that. So that's how we're going to do that. So the next one I'm going to show you is your calendar view tips. And I've got about 3 minutes left. So on calendar view tips, right, same thing. We're going to go to settings. You're going to click this little cog wheel up here. Go to settings. And then you got your settings on the right-hand side. So you're going to go to view options. Go down here to view options. View options will let you see different things like you can show the weekends on your calendar, show the client events if you want to, and show week numbers. What is week numbers? I'll show you that, how it shows you what week you're in for the year. And then it also will show you, right, it'll give you the ability to start your week when you want. Do you want your week to start on Sunday? If you do, you can choose that, right? How many days do you want your calendar to show? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or week, month, or year, right? So those things are really important. And I'm gonna show you on the calendar where that shows where it's a big deal. So you can start your week on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. That'll be the beginning of your calendar. And then you can also set custom days. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks for the custom view, right? So if I go back to my calendar, what you'll see is when I click where it says day, I can change day, week, month, year, or I can show my entire agenda, or I can just show 2 days at a time by hitting the X. All of these are shortcut keys. These are all shortcut keys. And I'll show you, and it's really easy to remember them because day is D, week is W, M is month, Y is year. And then I always say schedule, I say A, and that stands for agenda. And then X is always your default, which I have my default for 2 days. Why is that important? Right now I'm on 1 day. If I wanted to show my entire week and I hit W on my calendar, it changes to my whole week. If I want to see my whole year, I hit Y and it'll change my calendar to the whole year. You guys see that? If I want to just look at the month, I hit the letter M and it'll change it to the month. If I want to go to my default, which is 2 days at a time, I hit X and it'll show me 2 days on my calendar at a time. So I can change all of those views when I'm doing certain things. And I can also show how many days I want by doing another little hint here. So on my calendar here, where I've got all these days, if I wanted to look at the 6th and 7th at the same time of April, I can touch 6 and drag over to 7 and look what happens. It shows them both. If I want to look at 3 days, I can move it over to 7th and 8th. I mean, if I want to go here, 6th, 7th, and 8th, right? So if I say, hey, I need to know what's going on from the 25th to the 28th, I just drag it, and then it'll show me all those days at one time. Really quick ways to look at things on your calendar fast, right? And this helps you automate because now you're doing things pretty quickly, right? So I'm about out of time, so I'm gonna show you one more thing before we go. It's gonna take me 30 seconds, and I'm gonna turn it over to our next coach, which is gonna be Miss Ariel Simone. And this is how you get your daily agenda. So if I go to settings real quick, click on settings, and this is important because you wanna get up in the morning and know exactly what you have to do when you get up. So if I look under so if I go to my calendar, down here it says Robert Dunbar's calendar, click on my calendar, and I go to other notifications, and then see where it says daily agenda? I have email. You have none or email. Make sure yours says email. If it says email, every morning at 5 in the morning, Google will email you your entire daily agenda that's on your calendar. So when you get up and you look at your email, you can see what you got listed for the day without actually going to your calendar because you'll get that email every morning. So those are my 10-minute tips for the day on Google Calendar. I'm going to turn it over to our millennial on the crew, Miss Ariel Simone, who was just doing some LOJ training. So the floor is yours. I turn it over to you, and I believe I made you a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen if you need to.
Thank you, family. I mean, come on, y'all. Drop a 7 in the chat because these are wealth tips, right? When we can save ourselves time, when we can save ourselves energy, when we can systemize, I mean, it's just gold. And I'm the millennial of the crew, and I was like, noted. I don't know nothing about nothing. So really grateful to be here, family. My name is Ariel Simone. I'm a digital marketer. I'm a brand strategist. I am a bridge. Right? That's what I really love to say because we have safe conversations. We make sure that we take the time so that everybody is super comfortable with the online space. And I love the virtual economy that we are in. A lot of us are, still in the gig economy, but it's virtual. And so I get to discuss branding because reputation management is everything. Can I get some hand raised? Can I get a 1 in the chat? Don't we believe that, our reputation is everything? And before it used to be a handshake, right? It used to be us saying, you know what, hey, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. They were able to ask around town and people knew about you. But who can honestly say that if you don't have a social media page, right? If you don't have, even sometimes a website, some people still like websites, but if you don't have an Instagram or Facebook, if you don't have a LinkedIn, sometimes people are looking at you like, you a little strange, right? They don't trust you as much as they would. And so we're building trust. I know I have about 8 minutes and we're going to really rock and roll, family. I'm excited to share some tips. So we're going to discuss let's brand, right? Let's get branded. Let's brand our not only our social media, but let's brand ourselves. And I know that you guys can probably see my screen here. And one moment, family. I want to make sure that you guys can take notes. It's going to be a lot of fun so that we can definitely see what we can do better when it comes to, our, not only our social media, but of course, just the way that we show up online. So shape the community you want to empower. Can everybody see my screen? Yes and yes. All right. We have some noise in the background. I'm not necessarily sure if that's somebody who is coming through, but let's mute our lines if we can. So the first thing that I want to read to you guys is from Gary Vee. Some of us know Gary Vee. Some of us, maybe we're just hearing about him, but he is, when I tell you, one of the smartest marketers that I have ever followed. And he looks at trends, he looks at data, and he really has this intuition. But this is when I started taking myself seriously. Some of you guys have already started reading it, but I am going to read this out loud for you, and I want you to internalize it. When I started really getting aggressive with my stuff, it was absolutely from the standpoint of, holy crap, everybody in this room is actually the matriarch and patriarch of their family, because we will disproportionately have so much more content, pictures, and videos of us than anybody before us. And in 300 years, we're like kind of actually the starting point. How cool is that? How cool is it that you get to be the starting point for your legacy? That you get to be the starting point for people to point to and say, this is what I come from. I know for me, that's super important, right? Little brown girl from Queens. I don't necessarily have a starting point that some people have. And I get to be that. And so I want us to take this seriously, because what history will your content create? You are a historian. Write that down, family. We are historians. Our brand is our history. Our brand is our authenticity. Our brand is who we are and how we show up, okay? So these are some questions. Screenshot this for me. My mother laughed at me the other day because I was like, oh, I screenshotted it. She was like, that is not a word, sweetie. It is not screenshotted, all right? So screenshot this for me and go back to it a little later. But these are crucial conversations that you're gonna have with yourself. And if you guys have ever read the book, Crucial Conversation, you'll know that sometimes you gotta lean into this. But what businesses have you had? What are your habits? Do you travel, right? What are the hobbies that you love to do? Is there anything you wish you knew sooner in life? What do you love to eat? Where do you love to eat? What is your family dynamic? Maybe these are going to point to some triggers. These are going to point to some aha moments. This is going to really make you understand how you're going to want to show up, why you're going to want to show up, and for whom, okay? What pisses you off and what breaks your heart? Those are bold, because when you can isolate, when you can definitively point out what pisses you off, what breaks your heart, what makes you elated even, this is when you're really going to start to find what the manufacturer, whomever we believe in, made you for, okay, family? So I don't know what's going back, but here we go. Okay, awesome. So this is the question. What solution do you want to bring to the world? Stop trying to be unique. The idea is probably already out there, and that's okay, because it doesn't have your what? Your fingerprint. It doesn't have your what? Your DNA. It doesn't have your voice on it yet. So be authentic. And in one word, I want you to ask yourself, what is this for me? What's the solution that I want to bring to the world? For me, my one word is liberation. That is my one word. What's yours? Somebody else's one word may be legacy. Somebody else's one word may be love. Somebody else's one word may be harmony, disruption, innovation, right? Strategy. That's what auto systems. What's your one word? What do you want to bring to the world? And I'm just throwing some things out there because I want you to really ask yourself, what's that? And when you get to it, family, lock it in. It's a part of your brand identity. It's a part of your message. Mission plus message equals community. It equals authenticity. It equals your purpose. It equals the vision that you are going to fulfill. I hope that this is sticking. Drop a 2 in the chat if this is sticking for you, family. Drop a 2 in the chat if this is like, okay, I know what to ask myself. I'm getting some clarity here. I'm getting some clarity. Okay, good. I see Barbara said, yep. All right, justify the platform, justify the audience. Brands that build online must do 2 things. They must follow the rules of the audience, and they must follow the rules of the platform at the time. So why do I say this? We hear the word algorithm, right? We hear the word trends. We hear all of that things. And sometimes it's a little scary because you always have to learn. You always have to evolve. But when you're thinking of your mission, your why, I want you to ask yourself, where would those people exist? Where would this target audience live? Because some of us are on YouTube all day when we need to be on LinkedIn all day. Some of us are on Facebook all day when maybe we need to be on TikTok. Because one, that's where your audience is. Okay, so it's justified. And then also, that's the platform that maybe you can engage the best with. Maybe you don't mind learning it every 30, 60, 90 days all over again. And family, this is work, but it's worth it. This is work, but it's worth it, all right? So I'm gonna share, I know this is a lot of information, I'm kind of like, but branding is hard to conquer in 10 minutes. But this is authentically you. This is something I'm gonna share with you, just 4 key points. And then I'm gonna wrap. I have about 3 more minutes with you guys, and then I'm passing it over to an amazing coach. But Lululemon, but if some of us know them, they are a workout line, okay? They don't compete with Nike, Under Armour, Reebok. They don't compete with any of those people because they came up with their avatar. And their avatar's name is Ocean. Who is Ocean? Ocean goes to yoga 3 times a week. Ocean is engaged. Ocean makes 6 figures a year, 100K. Ocean loves to go out maybe once a week, maybe to dinner or lounge. That's Ocean. Ocean is not plus size. Ocean is petite. And they got down to the granular level with who Ocean is. And so when it comes to your audience, now we're switching from your messaging to your audience, family. I want you to ask yourself, who is my person? And how do they show up? What do they do? What do they put on? Where do they go? How do they interact with the world? What are they afraid of? What are their fears? What do they think about and say, I need this? This is an answer to a prayer. Some of us are going product service, then thinking about our people. And I want you to think about your mission, your why, your vision. And then I want you to bring it back home, right, to what you market. And then you tribe at the table. So this is another example. So if your person was sitting at a table that you weren't at, and they were talking to people, what would they say that you did for them? How would they say you showed up when you aren't even in the room? What would they say that they're so grateful that you gifted them? You aren't here, and your legacy says, this is the payoff. I'm talking about 5 generations removed. You're no longer here, but you're remembered. You're memorialized because you did what? And this is your homework. I want you to write a letter. I want you to take the time, write a letter. Screenshot this for me. This is what the letter must include. You must name this person. If it's a man, if it's a female, if it's both, name them. And every time that you say their name, say, I'm so excited that I helped you solve. It's so important for me to show up for you in this way. I hope that I'm able to help you in the future because blank. Make sure that you make this real, family. If it's not real, then it's not justified. Then it's not your message and it's not on brand. This should make you excited. This could even make you, cry a little bit. So I am your social media coach. I'm on the digital space, and I want you to look at some of these brands. But these are 6- and 7-figure brands that were built online. And I'm talking about even 8-figure brands that were built just in the social media space alone, just on the online space alone. And I want you to ask yourself, what's the difference between you and them? And write that list, because some of them are going to be your excuses. Some of them are going to be your reasons. Some of them are going to be your limiting beliefs. But as long as we know, family, we can transform. As long as we understand, we can get to the other side. All right. So write that down. What's the difference? And sometimes there is no difference. We just got to start showing up. But these are people that actually have done in this day and age, starting from scratch. Right. And then when you do that, family, when you brand yourself, when you get that messaging, when you know your target audience and you ask yourself those key questions, then you can build this audience. You can engage with this audience, and then you can convert. All right, family. I'm so thankful that I got to share that. That is my time. I get to pass it to a phenomenal self-mastery and mastermind coach. All right. This gentleman is breaking barriers and boundaries. I mean, to the point where he's earning his PhD to get it done, making sure that he's serving the community. You know, Mr. Harold Branch, I'm going to be able to have some time with you, sir, because I already know that you are moving mountains. I want to make sure that you guys know he is a speaker, he is a coach, he is a poet. We affectionately call him HB, but branching out, coaching and training. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Harold Branch.
Sister Ariel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Just an excellent job. You schooling me over here. I'm one of those people that could be a little averse social media wise. So I appreciate all that wisdom that you're laying down. Brother Dunbar, always giving us tips, tactics, and strategies to become better and to get the most out of ourselves. And I just got way too much to say about Sister Sharon Larry. Absolutely adore you. The way that you bring functional information, but bring it in a way that we don't just hear it with our ears, but our spirit hears it as well. It really means a lot. So thank you so much for what you do. And hello, everybody. Like everyone else, got a few moments to share a few things with you all. And I'm glad that Ariel got a chance to kind of bring it back to kind of your purpose, your why, more personalized as far as this journey is concerned. We're talking about being an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurship is not an easy tactic or strategy. So I'm going to bring it back down to the growth coach space, because what I understand in the topic of these few moments is surviving the marathon. Surviving the marathon, because guess what? You could do everything that was said, and every one of my coaches would tell you, you can do all of that, but if you don't have what's inside here, and what's inside your home together, it would never, ever, ever matter. It would never matter. Success will not happen and not occur because these things need to occur together. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Does that make sense? We all know people that got all the money in the world, but they're still not happy. So clearly those don't equate with each other. So I just got a couple tips for you all and some things for you all to do and for you to consider as you're moving through this intense process. We're talking about changing generational curses. We're talking about creating legacies. We're talking about having the level of impact. Some people don't have an impact on their day. We're trying to have an impact on generations. Think about that. Some people don't impact the day, and we're trying to have impacts on generations. 100 years from now, I want them to benefit from what I'm doing today. That's a heavy lift. Don't minimize what it is that you're focused on doing, because the majority of the world are not focused on it. So number one, pat yourself on the back for that. Number one, just for showing up, you're already winning. Just for showing up, you're already different. Just for having a little bit of fire, that very thing that you are beating yourself up about is the very thing you should be congratulating yourself on. The very thing you should be congratulating yourself on. So let's start here. We want to make sure that we're looking at the complete picture. At the end of the day, how did our day go? When we're talking about, I love to do audits. I call it the audit, right? I love to do audits. How did the day go? So I could constantly adjust. We all know a rocket ship is in a constant state of adjusting and adjusting and adjusting, so it's not off, right? So it doesn't miss its target because it's always off target. It's always off target, so it has to be in a constant state of adjustment. That's the same thing with our lives. So at the end of the day, how did we do? The problem with so many entrepreneurs is that we're so focused on becoming successful in the business world that literally becomes the only area we're evaluating. When we do our audit, we're not doing a complete audit. So we end up beating ourselves up when actually we did nothing wrong at all. So allow me to offer just a new perspective when it comes to checking this information out and taking a look at yourself. So at the end of the day, I want you all to just put a W or L on your day. Have a calendar, and that's all you put on it. Did I get a W? Did I get an L today? Was it a win or was it a loss? Like, did I screw the day up? Because it is possible to screw the day up. I don't know why people don't tell you that. You could really just blow the day. I mean, so you could mess this thing up. And you know when you did it. You didn't go into your shadow self. You literally done nothing productive. You barely even ate. You know what I mean? Your kid's mad at you. Your spouse is upset. Like, and you just screwed the day up. Don't let nobody tell you it's not possible. You can screw up, all right? So if that's the L, then that's the L, right? You didn't do any of your business stuff that you planned on doing. You didn't check anything off the list. But when should you give yourself a W? When you're making these evaluations, I want you to look at that entire day. I want you to look at all categories, because when you're evaluating your day, guess what? You're not just considering business, because you're more than a business. You're more than a CEO. You're more than a corporation. You're also taking a look at the other categories that are equally important. You're looking at your health. You're looking at your mental health. You're looking at your family, right? I'm just going to give you some examples of what I take a look at. I take a look at, hey, how did I do with my businesses? I run about 3 businesses fairly strong. How did I do with the businesses? Did I move forward? Did I check the things off the list that I had on my to-do list, on my goal list? Did I do the behavior? Not necessarily did I get the results yet, but did I do the behavior? Okay, did I do the behavior, the activity that will yield me the results later? Am I doing the work itself? So often we only focus on the results. So am I doing that work? Where am I with that? Man, you know what? I kind of feel like I neglected my business a little bit today. However, what happened today? My daughter called from school. I had to go pick her up. She wasn't feeling well. Guess what happens when my daughter calls? Meetings get canceled. They get postponed. They get rescheduled. The planet stops. Because I've had businesses come and go. I got one daughter. So when I look back at my day, if I didn't have that meeting I was supposed to have, but guess what? My daughter knew, and I confirmed as a father, when she calls, I come. So now I just reinforced in her stability. So when she gets older, she is stable. She understands who she is. I've given her a foundation, because guess what? Later on, I won't have to fix it. It is easier to raise them right than to fix them later. What's the point in building a multi-million-dollar business if you spending all the money trying to regain your kids, trying to help them through rehab, trying to regain the relationships? So once again, I give myself a W. That's a win today, because I took care of something absolutely important. You went to your doctor's visit. That's a big deal. You took notes. You found out something about yourself. You took a mental health day, because you were on the verge of strangling literally everyone. You looked in the mirror and almost strangled yourself. You know what I mean? That means you need to take a break. That means you're mature enough to know when you're not in a good space, you separate yourself so you don't do damage. Too often we force ourselves and we end up damaging relationships, damaging business, because we should have took a minute to gather ourselves, but we refuse to be honest and accept that we're human, that may need a little extra time. So you want to look at all of these different categories. Now, when you look at the different categories and you say, you know what, with my health, I didn't really do right. I didn't eat until, like, if you're like me, I'll look up and not eat till 8 o'clock at night, all day long, ran all day, didn't eat at all. I got people that call me, did you eat? Somebody has to look out for me, because I messed this up myself, right? I gotta have people that's looking out for me. Usually it's the women in my life on all levels. Thank you, sisters, I appreciate you. You keep me alive. But the bottom line is, and I got 2-3 minutes and I'm done. When this happens and you take a look and you find out an area you didn't do what you needed to, you know what? I didn't promote as much today like I wanted to. Okay, now my question to you is, did you drown? This is what I mean by that. I tend to look at things, and I'm gonna challenge you to do so as well. We're either doing one of 3 things. We're either swimming, And most people think we're only doing two. I'm either swimming forward or I'm drowning, but that's not true. I'm swimming, I'm treading water, or I'm drowning. Sometimes all you have in you is to tread water. Treading water is not the same as drowning. And stop beating yourself up like it is. It's not. Sometimes you need to tread water in one area, merely maintain, so that you can give the attention necessary in this area. Because this area is going to mess around and drown if you don't give it some attention. So how do you put it in neutral? It ain't in park. It ain't even in matter of fact, it's coasting. You just took your foot off the gas. You didn't park it. This is coasting because you got to run over here and make sure that this area is taken care of. For me, education is one. Ariel mentioned, I'm a doctoral student right now. And guess what? Next August, when this thing is done, I'll be grateful for every sacrifice I made on the way to getting it done. My son just went to college. He's 16 years old, just went to college, finishing his freshman year in biomedical engineering, right? Guess what? It took everything for me to make sure he had everything he needed 2 years early. So business, I had to take my foot off some gas. I had to do this to get that win. Now he's gone and he's killing the game. Killing the game. That was a well-decided placing of resources. Those are W's. Those are W's. I think somebody just unmuted. And so don't beat yourself up if you can honestly say you're treading water, you're not drowning in an area. Now, you don't want to go 5 days of ignoring the area, right? Be reasonable. Don't use this as an excuse either. Be honest with yourself. And lastly, and this is it, family, stop crushing your own spirit. I see people actually doing great work, and in their great work that they're doing, it's not yielding the results they want right now. So they beat themselves up on top of the world beating them up, on top of the natural pull to the negative, because that's all life is. Right? The push against the natural negative pull, all of these things heaping on you, now you heaping on yourself. So guess what? You're going to not make it through the marathon. You have to know when to pat yourself on the back, when to honestly critique yourself, and when to realize you literally did all you could do in the situation, because no success is merely your own. You have to work with others to do it, and other people are unpredictable. So that means you only have so much that you can control, but you don't need to control anyone else if you learn how to be honest, know, and control yourself. And I look forward to helping you gain that honesty, that realization, that self-awareness, and that power that comes with that. Because they will see that power shine on you. And I promise you, the business will come to you, and you won't even work half as hard as you're working right now, because you did the toughest job there is, which is to discover yourself. So thank you, Brother Dunbar. I think I'm turning it over to you, my friend. I'm so honored to be a part of this phenomenal group. I think I went over 2 minutes. My bad. I'm not even sure if I did. It's possible, though.
Nobody's going to complain about that.
Okay, all right.
And we were all into it. That was so good. That was great.
I also told you about bringing me on behind you either. Don't be bringing me on behind you.
Preach, Brother Dunbar. Preach, Brother Harold Branch. Preach.
Well, we wanted to make sure that tonight that you had an opportunity to hear from each one of us. And like I said, when I started here tonight, we've worked diligently to make sure we're bringing you information that makes sense now, right? We want to make sure that when you leave this forum, you know, when you move into our summit, that when you walk away, that you can say, I have tangible tools, information that I can use right now, because that's important to us. Our brand is important to us. So, Mr. Dunbar, I want to just tell you guys, when we first started talking about this, he and I spent just hours on the phone, and we went through just layers and layers of what can we do? Can we bring to the marketplace? What makes sense for where we are now? How can we help more people? And how can we do this without asking people to, go and rob the kids' piggy bank to do it? And then we talked to Ms. Simone and then Mr. Branch, and we were able to bring this community. And now we're opening this community so you can be a part of it as well. So Mr. Dunbar is going to tell you guys a little bit more about where we're going and what we're doing. And then we're going to ask the final few minutes, just each one of the trainers here, the coaches here, to just tell you one more time who they are and what they do. So let's start with our very own, who's leading the pack, Mr. Robert Dunbar with Training by Dunbar.
All right, good stuff. I appreciate you so much. And for those that follow me at all, anything that I do, you guys know that I really believe in the 80-20% rule. I educate 80% of the time and I sell 20% of the time. And that's what it is here. This 5-week pregame show is not only setting you up for the summit for those that are already registered, because many of you are already registered for it, but it's also a free event. So for 5 weeks, even if a person doesn't get involved in our summit, like nobody's twisting in the arms, like this is not a financial thing for us. This is what we do. And like everybody that we work, we particularly grab people that we know do this because they're passionate about it. We didn't grab anybody that we thought was going to coach for money. We grabbed people that was going to coach because they wanted what they give for people to be able to get it. So this 5 weeks, it doesn't matter what you do. We want you to be on here all 5 weeks and get what you can, because we're going to do this every week for the next 5 weeks. And the last one is going to be on the 18th of May. And then the summit is going to start on the 19th of May. And that's going to be for 4 days, 16 hours, all 4 of us. Plus there's going to be 2 guest trainers on top of us 4 coaches that are going to be training as well. One on taxes, particularly. So for those that are, you're self-employed, you know that that's going to be an important thing for you. So you're going to want to be a part of wanting to know what they're going to be doing on that. So we're going to really have some huge things going, and then some more training along with Sharon Larry. She's going to have some help training on CRM so that you guys will know how to automate your CRM. So she's going to be introducing the guest training as well. I'm not saying her name because I don't know if Sharon wants me to. So Sharon can say that.
Oh, yes. She's actually here with us, Ms. Darice Frencha. And then, of course, we have Ms. Brown, Lynette Brown from Brown Financial. Ms. Brown is a tax guru. When you're talking about small businesses and taxes, you better call Ms. Brown, right? So, between Darius Frencha and Ms. Frencha, she has been working in that space and in terms of automation for CRMs for quite a while. And she's put together a program that absolutely helps an entrepreneur, small business be able to free up more time. And that's what this whole summit is about. How can we help you have more time while you're making more money? Just like Mr. Branch talked to us about, I call him the professor. The professor said, you have to understand that what's important and where to lean in and what time you need to lean in. And so if I say excited, I am, guys. I am thrilled that we're doing this because nobody else is bringing anything like this to the marketplace. And so write the days down, right? We're talking May 19th through the 23rd. Write it down. 22nd. Yeah. Write it down, put it in your, already go ahead and put it on your calendar. And the next 4 weeks. Every Wednesday night, at 8:30 Eastern time, we're going to be right here. And we're going to be pouring into you. We're going to be pouring into your head, into your heart, into your soul, right? So please invite other people because we believe everybody can gain something from this Wednesday night series. Everybody, right? If you want your children on here, we promise not to say bad words, right? Right, guys? No bad words. Okay. All right. So.
He'll look like I ain't sure.
Put him on here with me. You may have to explain some stuff later. I don't know. They may have to grow up.
Maybe we should just keep it all adult. We're going to rate it A for adult. why don't you tell us a little bit about training by Dunbar, and then we'll go to Mr. Branch, I'm sorry, Miss Simone, myself, and then Mr. Branch, and then we're going to close it out tonight.
So TBD Coaching and Training, it was formerly Training by Dunbar. I changed my company name over to TBD Coaching and Training. And what I do is I coach and train on mindset, organization, automation for your business, business growth, if that's what you're into. And I also do branding and things like that as well. So most of my coaching clients are either trying to change how much money they make in their business or trying to become an entrepreneur where they can cut themselves away from the business and it still makes the same amount of money or more. So that's what we bring to the table. The training that I'm going to be doing during this seminar is going to be on organizing and automating your business. So when I'm finished doing my training, which will be throughout the training, you're going to be a little bit more organized and automated in running your business. So that's what I'm bringing to the table. We are super excited about being able to do this. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Miss Ariel Simone so she can talk about her part.
Thank you so much, Coach. Family, I'm really excited to be here. Ariel Simone, I am a digital marketer and brand strategist. I'm your millennial coach. So I create safe spaces so that we can build your business and bring it from offline to online, right? In a structured, strategic way that's going to be automated as well eventually so that you know how you're showing up, when you're showing up, and we're doing it in specific time blocks so that you're not afraid of social media, whether that's LinkedIn, IG, Facebook, TikTok, and also doing what that platform wants and desires. So I'm really excited to be here, not only for the, actual summit, that's the 19th through the 22nd, but also these 4 weeks. And like they said, family, show up, right? Show up so that by the time that you get to the summit, by the time that we get to Business on Autopilot, you have a foundation and we can really just explode, accelerate, and rock it. And I'm going to pass it over to Mrs. Sharon Larry, somebody that I learn from every day. Over to you, Mrs. Larry.
Thank you so much, Ms. Simone. I'm Sharon Larry, and I am Peak Performers in 90 Days to Success. And it's a forum that I built for women like me. These are women who are 50 and over. These are women who've made sacrifices to their careers, to their family, to their, to their spouses, to their children, and even sometimes taking care of parents. And they are still viable. They feel like they have a lot to offer the world, even though the world sometimes tell them that they don't, that you're done. I'm here to tell them, no. It's time to put your game face on, ladies. It's time to get your second wind because we have things to do. And we are wise women. We bring the experience. We bring a lot of the technologies, right? The things that we've learned from being mothers, from being CEOs, from being accountants, from being all of the things that we have chosen to do in this lifetime. So in our forum, we really concentrate on collaboration, having the support, learning the tools, like the using the technologies, the social media. But I specifically look for ways to make it happen for women who are our age. So join us. And during this summit, I'm going to be talking about some of those tools, things that we can use so that we can still be as viable as our millennial sisters and brothers, right? So Sharon Larry, Peak Performers, wise women do, and we don't regret it. I'm going to turn it now over to my little brother, Mr. Harold Branch.
Ms. Larry, that sounded a little saucy. That sounded last line. I was like, oh, it was a little cougarish. I don't know what kind of meetings you're holding, what kind of coaching you're doing over here. How you doing, everybody? My name is HB. I'm with Branching Out Coaching and Training Services. As you see, I like to have a great time. I really do. I believe laughter and humor is one of the most direct pathways to the spirit and the soul. And if you are familiar with the African proverb of Alegba, he always laughed you and tricked you into the message. And that's something that's always been very dear to me. Branching out coaching and training services. I mean, my background at the end of the day, I've been in mental and behavioral health and in personal development as long as I could remember, working through my own challenges, also working through my own purpose and figuring that out, and what's the vision, and how do I get there. And after overcoming a tremendous amount of hurdles, starting from a very young age, keeping that focus, all of those different lessons added up. And I had the privilege of a memory and proficiency in poetry. And so I remember these different phases and what took me through them, and remembering what those emotions were on that journey. So with branching out coaching and training and what I do, I just like to see people be better. My philosophy is happy, healthy, safe. And if you ever work with me, you'll hear that as the goal all the time. How we get you to happy, how we get you to healthy, how we get you to safe. And these three things are always unique. There's some commonalities in between them, but so often the thing that is holding us back from that happy, healthy, safe place are inside of here. They're inside here, or they're inside our yesterday. So how do we move beyond that? How do we succeed anyway? Right? How do we succeed anyway? How do we own our experiences, but take that and use it as fuel as opposed to allowing it to remain an albatross, right? We own these things, and taking that and driving that forward, recognizing the dopeness that is us, and really diving into that. I got my bachelor's is in communication, master's is in coaching psychology, and I'm working on my doctorate in performance psychology, where we talk about and work on helping people perform at their most optimal level, and whatever that may look like for you, because your optimal level may be very different from mine. So what's your purpose? What's your goal? Let's figure that stuff out, because you may be working on something you really don't want to actually do, but it sounds good. So let's get your unconscious, subconscious, and conscious in alignment, because that is the only time and the only way you can receive the messages that you're supposed to receive, so that you can walk the path that was already laid before you so many years before you ever got here. And that is me. And I look forward to spending time with you all in May. It's going to be dope, and we'll be here next week as well. And let's be great. Why not? What else you doing? Let's be awesome.
Right.
Let's be awesome. Real brand. So for those who I know some of you guys are already registered for the summit. If you're not registered for the summit, I just put the link in the chat for you to get registered for. If you are currently one of my coaching clients, one of Harold's coaching clients, one of Sharon's coaching clients, or one of Ariel's coaching clients, please contact them to get set up, because it's a 25% discount for their clients. So if you're one of their clients, please make sure you reach out to them so that you can get the information from the person who is coaching you there. This right here, I'm just going to show you guys real quickly, so that you will make sure you're in the right place. I don't want anybody in the wrong place. This is the page that you'll see when you go to register for the training. And right here, it'll show us the speakers down here, a few testimonials. And so you guys know the pricing, because we don't want anything to surprise anybody. You see that it's $199 for the 4-day coaching event. And we're also doing 2 payments of $99.50. So if you click either one of those, it'll take you into make your payments for one of those 2 things. Also understand with this program that it is all going to be recorded and turned into modules, just like these 5 events will be recorded as well. So whether you're part of this business summit or not, of course you can get on these. If you're paying for the business summit, of course you're going to be able to be on that live, and you're also going to get everything broken into modules. So every individual training that we do during that summit is going to be put into video form with PDFs and slideshows along with it. And you'll get all of those when it's over with, as well as all 5 of these recordings will be sent to you as well and packaged up. So you'll have them for life. Any trainings that we do are also always a money back guarantee. So you get 100% money back guarantee. I've never had anybody exercise that with any of my trainings that I've done. So they're definitely open to get your money back if you're not satisfied. But if you're on this today, I'm sure you know that you're going to be satisfied with the coaching and training that you're going to get during this seminar. So I'm going to turn it over to our other coaches to see if they have anything they want to mention before we close out.
We will see you guys next Wednesday. Same time, same bat channel. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. All right, guys. Don't
Good
forget
night.
that is here too. I put that PDF in there too as well for those that need the steps that I went over for the Google Calendar.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
See you next
family.
week.
See you next week.
Good night. Thanks, trainers.
Thank you.
everyone. Absolute pleasure.
Crystal, if you're gonna,
Awesome.
if
Thank
you
you.
decide you're going to get involved in it, please reach out to me, Crystal.
Okay, I certainly will. Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you're going to do it, just reach
Please
out to me.
share the link next week with everybody you know.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome training. Thank you.
Hey, Robin.
Very awesome
Yeah.
training. Stimulatory.
I love that. Cynthia, I
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be using that. First time I'm gonna say, you said, second time I'm gonna say somebody said, third time I'm gonna own it. Stimulatory.
My man,
Cynthia,
Jimmy.
thank you. Hey, Robin, good to see you.
You too. Are we meeting after this?
Yes, I'm headed
Okay.
over there now.
All right, let me go find it.
Hey, Sharon, just over there in another Zoom.
Yes. This is typically peak performances Wednesday night.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks a
All
lot.
right, talk to you later.
Later.